Hello and welcome to AWE Nite Northern XR. Uh, Tonight we have a special lineup from WiseGuys XR Accelerator. Welcome everybody aboard. We have quite an exciting venue for today, so I think I'll go ahead and start the presentation. So we welcome. This is an overnight that is from the Augmented World Expo organization's event that is held throughout the world in many nice cities around the world. So you can go to that address at awexr.com/global/all night to see all those nice events. And of course, this is the best one of those. And of course, Over.Live is the platform where you want to be if you want to learn about XR and see what's happening in the scene in real life or in virtually or whatever is your thing. And then, of course, we want to remind you of the next year's events that are coming up. All USA, May 31st. Then AWE Asia in August, and of course AWE EU in October. So that's pretty much exactly a year from now, the AWE EU, if I look at the dates correctly. And then, of course, we have the recordings from the previous AWE EU event, which are of course very nice because we were a part of those recordings as well. So definitely go there and listen in. Nice panel discussions and information on what is going on in the scene. Also, upcoming events at Over.Live. There's podcasts coming up, and of course, the XR prize is something you want to listen in. That will be an interesting thing on December 8th. There's Ori and Nathan talking about it at Over.Live, so definitely worth checking it out. 100,000 euros up for grabs. Sorry, dollars, not euros. Then AWE Academy, reminding that there's interesting courses to take up on, and also a newsletter that you can sign up at awexr.com. Web AR workshops, fundraising preparation courses, and whatever you need to be successful in XR. But for today, our agenda, I'm going to go briefly through the agenda, and then we'll head actually into the content as soon as possible. So first, we will have the spatial news, which is, well, presented and performed by me. Let's look at that later. Then we will have an overview of the Startup WiseGuys program presented by Maria and Giovanni. Then we will have the XR1 batch presentations from Overly, Virtual Beginnings, and Explode View. And then we'll finalize with a panel discussion about WiseGuys XR vision. That's something I'm actually looking forward to.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Amazing. I will also ask my team to share the screen while I will start the presentation. Gio, please jump in whenever you feel like adding something. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session. Thank you so much for coming and watching. My name is Maria. I'm head of business development at the Startup WiseGuys, and I was the managing director for the first XR cohort that we had this year. I am accompanied by Giovanni, who is the managing director of the upcoming batch that we're currently scouting for. So if there are startups that are interested, please go check out our website. And Andrey, our venture partner for the XR vertical. Yes, thank you. All right, let's get into it. I will make a small introduction to the Startup WiseGuys overall, and then I think we will have quite some conversations today. Startup WiseGuys has been born in Estonia 10 years ago. We have started from one small batch back then, already with international lineup of startups. And I can tell you that this has stayed true to us up until today. All of our batches are extremely international. And this February, we have celebrated 10 years of the start of WiseGuys. Our mission in this world is to help founders become entrepreneurs and build great international sustainable companies. And the word sustainable there highlighted for a reason. We believe that the true impact that our startups are creating are anywhere around the betterment of society, and we support such initiatives all throughout our verticals and anywhere in our investments. We are true to our values. We're in it for long term, we're passionate and ambitious, and most and foremost, we're building the community around us. And I think that today you will hear from our startuppers, what does it mean, how do we stand for it, and how do we deliver on that promise, specifically on the XR frontier. Startup WiseGuys has been around for 10 years. We haven't been lagging behind with all the activities we were trying to bring to this world. We're already over 360 investments done in the early stage startups. Actually, the next XR cohort will be our batch number 40. So quite some experience behind our shoulders. We are a 70 people team with 25 different nationalities. So diversity is something that we bring and value, and something we look for, at least as a value in our startups. One of the metrics that we feel is showing the impact is the number of people that are currently employed by our portfolio. I think that Q1 next year, we will already get to the 3,000 point mark. And with this said, these are just some of the places where we bring impact, and the countries and cities that you see on the screen are those where we have our team, our offices, and our programs. Even though our programs are hybrid, we still get together twice a program for us to meet the startups and then to show them to the outside world. And the way that we're choosing, we're in early stage. So our choice, our bid is always the team. We're looking at the founders that have experience. We're looking at the founders that know how to dissect all the zones of responsibilities you have in your startup, even if you're just 2 on board. And obviously, we're looking for innovative solutions and people that know where their market is and how to conquer it. With that said, I think this is time that I give you an overview of exactly XR batch. So this year we have started for the first time the XR vertical for the startup WiseGuys. We have been doing investments within the technology in the previous years. You probably all know Ready Player Me, who's our investment from 2015. But I think that yearly we were doing something around 3 to 4 investments within the XR teams. This year, we have finally managed to pull off an entirely XR batch of 10 teams. And you can see their logos and their countries of origins on the screen. We will hear from some of them today, but the numbers behind this cohort were that out of 23 founders that we have in that batch, we had 16 nationalities. Again, cheers for the diversity, 4 female co-founders, and then almost 100 people employed just by this batch products. We are working always with B2B SaaS, and this is one of our flagship programs. We have it in Milan and Tallinn, but also we're now directing our efforts towards the verticals such as XR, cybersecurity, fintech, sustainability, and most recently, we just opened the Industry 4.0. Thank you so much for your attention. I will pass on the mic to my colleagues.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maria, for this nice and warm introduction. So from here, I'd like to, I'm Andrey Lunev, venture partner XR. We were parenting those companies with Maria for like 5 months together, and we are happy to tell you a little bit more. later today you will see. So I will present you like briefly the concepts that those startups working on, and also later Giovanni will explore in depth some learnings that they get from the program. Meanwhile, okay, I'm juggling now with slides. Yeah, 10 companies. Maria just mentioned them, and let me go with them one by one. So let's start with Skill Up. Skill Up, you know, that's training is the primary use case, one of the primary use cases for virtual reality, and Skill Up exactly solves this problem, which is training in general sucks, and VR is the best proven medium for learning skills. So they enable deployment of VR solutions at scale, providing the library of the applications and also the application itself that manage this library and deliver content in a self-served manner across enterprise. The next in our cohort is Overlay. Well, you know what augmented reality is, right? It's an interactive display to any that you can put next to any object and access it right now from your smartphone. Later, you will definitely be able to do that with also glasses. But there is a problem here. Like, how do you put actually the content out there? And they're exactly solving this problem with quite easy low code or no code solution. Watch them. The next, well, actually, even for those relatively simple content placement, you still need people who perform the task and add their creativity. So Cross Creators is the marketplace for augmented reality marketing. Marketing was one of the most appealing use cases because the novelty and the practicality of the content, again, placed in the context of the object that you are talking about, creates a different level of engagement. So, but still producing those augmented reality experiences across different platforms is a challenge, which is simplified by Cross Creators. They connect creators who can monetize the skills with large brands who actually order the content on the platform. Yeah, this is some of the examples. The next participant is Sense of Space. Like, there is a lot of content to put out there, but some of that content takes gigabytes of information to, and it overloads the devices. So basically, the Sense of Space solves this problem, enabling 3D streaming for the metaverse. Yeah, and providing the best visual quality that is possible. Later in the presentation, you can see actually the video of the content that is streamed through Sense of Space. As you see, it's also cross-platform, so you can apply that on headsets or in the web browser. Okay, next. Well, we covered augmented reality and 3D objects, but then this 3D content could be published on the web, and Captic is exactly what it does. It's basically Wix for 3D interactive spaces that can be published by anyone, enabling interactivity in the browser, but also those spaces would be accessible through the VR headset. And besides the fact that you can publish, there is a technical advantage in terms of faster GPU usage and less draw calls in the headset when you process in those environments. So yeah, you can test it with the proprietary platform VRLand, or reach out and talk about your use case where you want to publish. Finally, those virtual spaces has to be populated, and virtual beings will tell about themselves a little bit later during the product demo. Basically, they're making AI characters come to life. This is how it used to be like NPC in the game, and this is the level of interactivity, and it's all automated that Virtual Being delivers through their proprietary engine Rascal. Patch Vault. Well, this is probably the startup in our batch that made a lot of buzz recently. They actually won Startup to Watch award at the recent AWE award and AWE in Lisbon. And yeah, let me show you just video which speaks to itself. I hope you will be able to hear the sound. Can you see this? Can you hear the sound?
All right. Okay.
Good.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hey. Whoa. It's how we want this show. Come on, let's solo.
So basically what you see right now on the screen is created completely in Guys XR. So this music instrument didn't exist, and it was created in a matter of, let's say, minutes, and one of the team members performing. I really love this piece. I recommend you to watch it later. But another thing that I want to say here is that the actual environment was
okay. All right.
Here, wait a second. Yeah, so the actual environment was collaboration between Sense of Space and Guys XR. So it's about music metaverse. And next, well, okay, you have all the sorts of the metaverse, but how you access the human emotions in those metaverses? How do you report from them? You need a camera, right? And this is exactly our next startup exploded for you. Have you ever tried to make a video that broadcasts from the metaverse? It's always challenging, especially when it comes like across different, like some platforms has the proprietary internal inside camera, but most of the games just don't have this easily accessible. And again, I wouldn't speak about that too much because Martin will show you the product demo later himself. Pediatric care and dentistry. I think most of you know that kids are usually afraid of the going to the dentist. So in order to alleviate the problem and put the best forward, the best fit forward of the dentists, and they can use the proprietary hardware and content to entertain kids while they're undergoing through the procedures. And finally, like the holy grail of virtual reality and all the sensors, like digital biomarkers in digital environments, your behavior and the physical response of your eye can provide the software developers and the users with a lot of insights into mental state of the user. And if you notice that every device that coming on the market recently has eye tracking, so basically enabling some reality to explore that. And yeah, we will learn more about the vision of some reality during the panel where Julia will join us. So this is it about our startups. And with that, handing over the mic to Giovanni. And I'm welcome to the stage our panelists.
Hey, Andrew, hi. Are we gonna do any demos, or are we gonna move right to the panel?
Oh, right. Sorry. Of course.
No worries.
Of course, the demo. Thank you so much, Giovanni.
No
So
worries.
I stopped my screen sharing, and the first is Einars. Einars.
Yeah,
Let me
I'm
welcome
here.
you. Now the screen sharing option is available to you. So
All right.
Now I lost my keynote.
Oh,
Just a
that
second.
happens.
Just a second, I'll reopen it. All right, so here it is. All right, guys, so hi, welcome to Overly Office. And yeah, my name is Einars, and I'm the co-founder of Overly. And I was asked to do a really short demo, product demo today. So it's going to be a bit more about product and really glimpse of product demo, but later on you can always check in on me and we can talk a bit more about that. So, but in terms of what we do, so let's say you want to create an augmented reality experience. Usually what you stumble upon are these questions, like where do I get the content for AR? How can I use my already existing content? Or where do I create the content? And actually many more questions. But what is more interesting is that we actually have found out that more than 50% of companies give up on augmented reality when they're faced with the cost and complexity of augmented reality content creation. So this is why we have created an augmented reality platform where you can create AR experiences without any outsourcing. So to give you a small example of what we mean and how we approach this, I'm going to start with the most simplest thing you can do in augmented reality. So the first question usually the companies get is where to get the content. And what they do, they usually go to look for the stock markets where they can buy already created content. So there are these big markets. There's a lot of 3D models made for the very different purposes. But the thing is that actually 80% of the times when people buy these stock models, they fail because most of them are not usable for augmented reality. As much as we have gathered information, only 20% of them are usable. So the first thing that we do and we created in our platform is a super easy way how you can add already made 3D content. So we have sourced the 3D models which are already usable for augmented reality, and we are implementing them into our platform. So in a way, you could say that we are trying to build a place like a biggest 3D content area with ready-made content for augmented reality. So, and just by pressing in the search bar, putting some keywords, you can find the content you are looking for, and then you can combine these 3D models and create AR environments inside there. So of course, this is like a really simple solution, and I will be happy to show more if someone will contact me later, because there is a lot of more features coming up in the product so that you can adjust your already made 3D content, some AI generated content that is coming up, very exciting stuff. So yes, I had to go into 3 minutes. So this is a QR code, you can scan it. Through this, you can book a meeting with me. And I will be happy to show more. Yes. Did I lose you? No. All right.
We lost Andrey, I guess. There he is. And you're muted, Andrey.
Sorry, I removed myself from the stage, and we hit like a classic Zoom bingo. Not show up, like don't turn the camera. Yeah, thank you so much, Einars. Great presentation. I think it was clear, and the focus really today is to highlight like what are the features of the product, and then your fundraising plans you can discuss later in the follow-up with people who can reach out to you on LinkedIn. So up next is Virtual Beings. Vandalin, could you please
Hello there.
Wendy, we can hear you, but not Andrey.
Yes, we can hear you. You can start screen sharing. Yeah, great.
Awesome. Well, great to be here. Yeah, I'm Wendy. I'm the CEO of Virtual Beings. So let's start What? You cannot hear me?
We can.
No,
All
it's
good.
it's good.
Okay. I have a colleague telling me in the background to stop, but everything seems to be working. Okay. So let's talk about the real world for a second. The real world is a place that's full of life. There's people in there. There's animals in there. Some animals are pets. We believe at Virtual Beings that the metaverse is going to be no different. It's going to be full of life. And of course, not just real animals, but also a lot of fantasy creatures. And the vast majority of all the life in the metaverse is going to be AI-based, because it's going to be there to entertain you and your friends, to teach you, and maybe even to heal you. Now, the problem with the metaverse, of course, is that currently it looks more like this. The metaverse is by and large an empty place, but of course there's games, tons of games that use non-player characters already. And the problem with them is that the state of the art is just not very good. Behavior AI today is expensive and difficult. I will spare you the details. Just let me show you our solution. So as Andrey mentioned before, we're able to create characters that are deeply interactive and immersive. You see here two different platforms, one VR experience focused on birds, and one experience on mobile focused on cats. We presented this at AWE, the virtual reality demo, and it was an absolute pleasure. People fell just literally off their chairs when they see in VR a virtual being, a living creature, interact with them. Allow me to show you a little video. And walk you through how this works in detail. So here you have our latest member of the family in VR. That's me with my virtual hand in front of the food dispenser. Everything that happens is procedural. Everything is interactive. So there you see I'm teasing him. He's not happy. He wants to have the piece of food there. Okay. And he's very responsive, very aware of what's happening. Here able to perch on my finger. There I'm teasing him a little bit. You see, he responds. He doesn't like to be touched on the tail, but he loves being caressed around the head, and you can see that he's really into that. And of course, the whole body responds. Right, this is like a very sophisticated procedure animation which is going on here. Yeah, and of course, we do not just do birds, we do all sorts of characters. And I want to close by mentioning that we are currently in the process of closing our second client. We've worked for the entire year already with a large client called Resolution Games, and we are now in the process of closing a second larger deal where we're developing a new kind of creature for an augmented reality experience. So very much in the continuity of what we're doing with VR. Yeah, if you are curious about AI in the metaverse, hit me up on LinkedIn or here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vanzi. It was a great demo, and thanks for joining us today. And the next, we invite into the stage Marcin from Exploded Fear.
Yep. Hello, everyone.
Take it away.
Hi, guys. It's great to see you. It's just 2 weeks after graduation, but I miss you so much. Actually, so that's crazy.
We'll talk about that a little bit later during the panel.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely we will discuss that missing part. I'm in a hoodie, as you can see today. So yeah, the start of WiseGuys was an amazing journey. But let me dive a bit into the project itself, Exploded View, that we are building here. And as you can see, I'm actually not going to use slides, and that's the common thing, and all the startup WiseGuys, they know. I'm not using slides. Andrey is using my slides, but yeah, I'm not using slides anyway. So definitely we're going to focus on the demo right now. And Andrey slightly touched the problem that we are solving here. because we all know that the metaverse concept is amazing. I think there is no experts on the market right now that does not believe that it's going to happen. And there is so much investment actually happening right now into the space. That's definitely an inevitable future. But there is a small challenge right now. Actually, not that small. There is so many beautiful projects and amazing experiences that you can go and dive to using VR headsets, sometimes games, mobile phones. But those projects, even though they are so beautiful, it's very hard to show them. So we all believe that the metaverse is going to happen. But at that stage, and it's 2022, we are not able to show them properly. That's why we decided to solve that problem. And I was personally experiencing that problem for some time now. So I decided to dive in and prepare our project. So that's what you can see in the camera right now. That's my avatar, and that's our product. That's the alter ego of me, actually, that I'm using a lot. And it's driven by our application. That's a mobile application, iOS application, that is called Avatar Cam. And what it's doing is actually, first of all, helping me turn into that avatar and also show up in beautiful spaces. In here, you actually can see the WiseGuys space. So that's the unique space that we created especially for this particular batch. So you can see all the logos in the background. And I can move as I would use the regular smartphone camera. So right now, let me also show you maybe a bit more about the product itself. So let's do it that way. And right now, you can see on the screen the actual application that I'm driving right now. Looking at the interface, it's regular camera application as the iPhone application itself. But what you can do in here is, first of all, you can customize your character. So let me move it a bit up. Andrey mentioned that one of the godfathers of the XR batch was Timo from the Ready Player Me, and that's exactly the platform that we are using here. So my avatar was created using Ready Player Me platform. And every single person, because Avatar Cam, by the way, is available in the App Store already, released during the program, you can download that app from the App Store and then create your own avatar. I can quickly show you how it's working. So you can see the entire, like the space. I can customize my own avatar right now that was already created, change some clothes, change some, there's a bit more colorful version of that outfit as well here. Let me go to that. So you can fully like change the look of the avatar. You can change hairstyles. So let me maybe be a bit more proper. Bam. Then you just save it. Wait a second, and in a moment the new version of you and your avatar is showing up on the stage, and you can drive it. So you can see it's done. So that's me in a bit more regular version, let's say. And of course, that's the one thing. So the identity and the avatar that you can drive is one thing, but also as an avatar, you want to add that storytelling element that Andrey mentioned as well. That's why we also allow you to travel around the world. We already prepared a few of them. That's the basic dome that you enter the application with. That's our metaverse city. That was the first experience we provided. And you can go to that. You can see some cool flying cars in the background. You can see animated banners as well. So that's the properly 3D driven space that you can look around. And of course, sometimes if you just need to do some kind of custom video, we provide you the green screen as well. But let's go back to the startup WiseGuys space. And in terms of the functionality, what's most important is that actually you create the content out of that application. So you can create both photos and videos. If you record the video, it's super quick. You just say something to your audience, showing the beautiful background and the startup WiseGuys space, and then immediately you have the recording in your place. And you can share it on LinkedIn, on TikTok, or any other platform of choice. The one additional thing that we added here is the meeting mode. I won't use it right now, but it allows you also to do the thing that I'm doing right now. So join the video calls and then drive your character in virtual meetings as well. So that's the app itself. I hope you like it, and I hope I didn't take too much of your time. So thank you very much, guys, and see you in the Q&A panel.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it was exactly to the point. One of the most appealing demo that you can have on the video stream. And from now on, I want to introduce Giovanni, who is taking over Maria's role in the batch and becomes my partner in crime. So how do I switch? How do I pin you, Giovanni? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You got it.
Now. Yeah.
So thank you, Andrew, for the intro. Hello, everyone. I'm Giovanni Khoury. I'm the managing director of the upcoming XR batch. I've been working with startup WiseGuys for almost 2 years now. I've been running programs in Italy on B2B SaaS. It's been an interesting journey so far. It's going to get even more interesting working with Andrey on the upcoming one. So without further ado, I'm going to call on stage the three panelists. We can keep Andrey. We're going to bring Maria back and call Julia from Summer Reality, bring back Marcin from Exploded View, and Steve from SkillUp. So the point of this panel is to give the audience a little bit of insights about how was the program in the eye of the founders themselves. Because these presentations that we do about how beautiful, how effective the program they're amazing. But I think it would be even more interesting for you to listen to the people who actually experienced it and understand the good and the bad and where are they today. So maybe do we have everyone?
Yeah, I'm trying to manage the stage, but probably could be yes.
Getting better now.
Yeah.
I don't see Julia, but I think she's here somewhere. But meanwhile, we can start. Maybe Maria, you can give us a little bit of like an overview on what is the role of a managing director. So what did you do during this batch?
She's here, but she's having apparently. I was making jokes in the chat that if you want to hear the truth for them, you probably should take me out of the panel for them to actually tell the feedback. Because I was exactly the one working with each and every founder in my batch. Okay, so the managing director role, basically it's a person that leads the whole process. It's like the product owner for the program. So my job was to make sure that first off, we find the best founders. I think we managed to pull that off. And then also to make sure that the experience of the program itself is smooth, challenging enough, but also kind of gradual for my guys to be building up on it, So I think the biggest challenge is to make sure that I'm meeting the criteria of working with XR-specific startups and give them all the instruments for them to step out a little bit from this bubble of being within the XR community. And I'm sorry, but that's like the most common mistake that founders with this technology do. It's very cozy inside the XR space where we are at right now, for example. We know half of the people here. I saw the attendees. I want to say hi to half of you there. But it's also not very productive if you want to commercialize and if you want to actually step outside the comfort zone and win the market. So my job was to push them. My job was to make sure that they meet the best people, that we visit the best corporates, that we go to the right conferences. So in the end of the program, we were exhibiting at AWE. And it's also somewhat a personal coach position because basically a managing director is meeting the teams weekly. And we've been working on many different challenges, including sales, because that's my core expertise.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, it sounds a very interesting job. And it's more it's more a passion that you put in there, and you work with these teams for a long time. You feel part of their teams at the end of the day. But so I'm gonna try to squeeze as many questions as possible. We're a little bit behind on schedule, but anyone from the audience, if you would like to engage, it would be good. So just write your questions in the chat, and I will read them out loud. But let's move to the first question, and I'm usually curious to understand why do you join such a program? And it's not only about the program, it's about why do you partner with such an entity? Is it about the money? Is it about something else? Why you're in here? So maybe we can start with, on the screen, we can start with Marcin, since you're the first on my list.
Sure, absolutely. It's actually, I think, you touched a few points, but I would say, at least from my perspective, it's not about the money, it's about the family that you are joining. And that's something that I think we also shared that common sense inside the batch. It was like amazing experience for all of us, but my main reason to join that cohort was to be part of that group of people. And that's the thing, that when you're building the startup, and especially the early stage, like we've been incorporated in April this year, so we are super early stage. But still, like joining this set of people was actually amazing experience, because you get a lot of knowledge from them. You can share the experiences, you can share the challenges that you're having right now. And we've been actually having so many discussions. Like the program was partly on site in Spain and partly remote. And there was so many interesting discussions and problem solving sessions that we actually, even between the teams that happened. So definitely, from my perspective, building the project, especially as complex as the XR space is right now, and there is so many different challenges, technical ones, and of course, the business ones, it's very, very important to build a strong ecosystem around your project. So then, like in that ecosystem, you can actually evolve and properly address the market. And from that perspective, like looking at the XR, but it's also quite unique, because if you look at the acceleration programs, like outside of Startup WiseGuys, usually they're quite like general. So there is no like dedicated batches that are around a specific problem. And that's very unique about the Startup WiseGuys from my perspective, especially in Europe. So yeah, it's really all about the people, and that's what I truly believe in. And that's working out very, very strongly, even now after the program.
Thank you, Marcin. So I'm going to move to Steve. So same question for you. So why you're in it?
Wendy always used to say in our batch, he feels highly accelerated. And I think that's a pretty good sum up of what happens in an accelerator. You get accelerated. I think the true mark of intelligence is when you know that you know nothing. And when you get into an accelerator, you have obviously a really big idea, and you have big ambitions, and maybe you've got a bit of traction, and you've got all the sort of the fundamentals right, but you actually are quite aware a few weeks in that you don't really know much, and you need the gaps filled. And I think that was very important about getting through an accelerator, and especially this kind of accelerator, is that it was hyper focused on our industry. Everyone who was around us knew the specific challenges of our industry. The focus was to fill the gaps, to accelerate you as a company so that you could move faster, and be ready to raise funds and to grow your business. And I think that those are the sort of catalysts that you need for success. The willpower and the determination and the no giving up attitude is inherently ingrained in all entrepreneurs, but you need to focus that energy, and you need a bit of direction, you need a bit of support, you need even a little bit of capital. All these things kind of come together and they help you like dramatically. So what I knew when I jumped into this batch was that I knew some things, but I didn't know a lot of things, and I leaned on the resources of the people around me, and Marcin was exactly right, the family around us, to fill in those gaps and to get a good handle of what I was trying to do, and to refine my objectives and my my focus, and make sure that I could take my business where I wanted it to be. And I think that's why you should jump into an accelerator, why you should join something like this. Something that's hyper focused on your industry, that's not just a blanket sort of generic accelerator. One that's focused is very important, because people really understand your pain. And you should go through a program like this, because if you think you know everything, you know nothing, and you're not going to raise any money and you're not going to get anywhere. I can tell you that much. So, go through the space and get pushed and get tested and have your ideas challenged. And if you can come out on top and you can feel like you've really, solved your big problems, you understand exactly what you need to execute, what you need to do, and where your focus needs to be, then you're just going to be in a better place. You're going to be accelerated. So, that's kind of what my perception was of the program, and the advice I'd give to anyone else is that, in the early stages of your business, you should go through something like this. It helps you in immense ways.
Thank you, Steve. So we've been talking about challenges, gaps, and getting into like understanding actually what are your weaknesses. So I'm gonna go back to you and better understand what are these things that you had. But before that, I'm gonna jump to Julia and hear her story.
Yeah, I hope that you guys can hear me. I just shut off the camera for a second. Let's see if it stays stable.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Let me just stay like this for this question. So obviously there's not much to add to all the great things that Steve and Marcin already said. Maybe just to touch up on two more and to deepen that. I think like the group therapy sessions were one of the most unexpected parts of the program, in the sense that once you get to know everyone and once you had your first touch points both with the mentors and with the batch members, you get into this kind of family feeling and you start sharing actual problems and not just superficial problems. And then getting to solve them together is a real hoot and something that everyone should take out of an accelerator, in my opinion. And the other one was, Marcin said the people, Steve said that as well. I'm going to say that as well, but I want to expand on that in the sense of really having to be exposed to the outside world a lot by sort of WiseGuys forcing us to go to events, and talking to outside people gives you a really good grip on your product market fit. And that's something that's really valuable. And I think, a point where many startups lose traction to what's really going on outside. So that was great.
And Ulysses, we have you here. So what was your main challenge that you had to put as a priority to solve during this program?
Yeah, let me try that with camera again. Now it seems to be working. For us, it's focus, or it was focus. When we joined the program, we tried to harmonize two business units that we already have, one being a running, operating business, and one being like a pre-seed kind of situation. And we really needed to harmonize and at the same time get like a lot of focus on the early stage part of the business. And again, I'm going to use the word force. Maria is going to smile at me, but a program like this with all the stuff that's put on top of you and on top of an already running daily business really forces you to look at your pain points. And it's painful and it's not nice. And sometimes you just shut the laptop and want to throw it in the corner at the end of the day. But that's all part of the deal. And it got us to where Wendy would say today. It really accelerated us.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you. So I'm going to go back to you, Marcin, and understand what was your top challenge that pushed you to also get into startup WiseGuys.
Yeah, so it was definitely as I mentioned, we've been incorporated in April, and it was very early for us. And I'm super happy that Startup WiseGuys believed in the project and in our capability to deliver. The main challenge actually, and something that we've been addressing during the entire program, was expanding our initial thinking about the market itself. Because we started, and there was a lot of initial discussions with Maria and the Startup WiseGuys team about our target audience, where we've been mainly envisioning the individual creators to use our product. And because the Startup WiseGuys, they have very, very strong, actually I can say right now we have very, very strong B2B vibe. That was really amazing to actually go and explore this part of the market. So our main KPI was actually to have some deals in the B2B space where we can talk to projects, to some other companies, and work on some more efficient pipeline in terms of supporting them. And it was really good because right now it provides us a lot of good balance in terms of the business. So on one hand, we have those B2B clients that are working with us, but on the other hand, we still can support like the community of creators and build that leg, because like it's also diversity is important, because sometimes the market may not grow as fast as you expect. So in that case, it's actually helping a lot to be a bit more balanced. So definitely that B2B vibe and B2B exploration was the biggest challenge for us during the program.
Thank you, Marcin. What about you, Steve?
There we go. Why don't you hit me with a question again?
Sorry?
Why don't you tell me? Yeah, the question again.
The question was, what was your main challenge? The main challenge that you had before joining or when you started?
So I moved from South Africa to Portugal when this, when the accelerator came around. I was trying to get, to Europe and to expand the business here. And, one of my main challenges was that I was being jumped into a place that I really didn't know much about. And I needed, contacts and friends and people to guide me about the market and the spaces. And, those are the biggest challenges, was the sleepless nights that I was having about, making such a big leap and a big transition into a new space. And then, the program sort of presented itself to me. I applied and I had a good grilling session when I got in. And then when I got in, it gave me the motivation and the assurance that I could do this, and I could take the business and I could expand it. And I had such an amazing support structure from everybody in the batch and at the Startup WiseGuys as well. That I came, to Europe. I got set up. I got started. I broke my leg, and people still help me all the time. To get myself settled and to help me with everything around the events that were going on, and to do all the workshops and the sessions, and I've had a terrible couple of months, but I didn't actually feel any of it because everybody was really there to help me, and I couldn't say thank you enough to everyone to give me such a soft landing in a whole new place.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, one thing that is common to all of you, it's mainly the community and the people, right? So at the end of the day, the knowledge and the content is something that you can, and the money is something that you can easily access, I would say. But the leveraging the group is something very valuable. So just for the sake of time, with a bit over time, so if you please bear with us, we're still gonna have a couple of questions, and feel free to chip in so you don't feel bored in the chat. So I'm gonna move to the selection process, so which is something that is usually vague and mysterious. And also I would like to hear Andrey and Maria opinion on this. So what was the selection process for you? How was it? And is there like any, questions were you a bit reluctant in applying? You felt you're a bit overqualified for this, or you were not sure that it is the right time? And what did you get out of that selection process? That's the question for the startups, and whoever would like to jump first. If you still remember how you got selected.
I can start if you want.
Yes, please.
Yeah, quick. It was actually quite intense, honestly. I remember we approached the Startup WiseGuys based on the recommendation from the friend of mine from States. There was really like a good recommendation, and we decided, yeah, that sounds like a very good plan. But it was very intense. Like I remember, like it was 2 weeks of constant calls. There was like few meetings that we've been pitching all the time and pitching and pitching. That was repeated at the end of the program as well, but with much more improved pitches. Yeah, but it was very intense, and I remember like it was I wasn't exactly getting at the very beginning the entire puzzle that I think Andrey was putting in place, and he described that today. But that worked quite well. Actually, that was the most valuable surprise for me, that all of the teams actually aligned properly during the program. And right now there is so strong like ecosystem between us. There are projects like working with each other. You saw like the sense of space working with Patch XR. We are working with Patch XR as well. So it was so many like connections that happened during that program that the puzzle actually went very well. But the initial process was like, yeah, it was intense, and definitely you need to be prepared, like to be able to explain and demo and present your product a lot to many different stakeholders. But yeah, it's worth trying.
Thank you. So, anything from Steve and Julia?
I think I was the last startup actually to get into the program. It kind of all happened in like a whirlwind sort of situation. It was like in 2 weeks I went through tons and tons of meetings and due diligence and technical analysis and so on and so on. And then I got an email on Thursday night saying, "Congratulations, you got in. We'll see you on Monday in Spain." And I was in Joburg, so it was a bit of a crazy weekend.
That's why you broke your leg.
No, that happened 2 months later, but maybe the momentum was carrying me through the whole time. It was quite a crazy 2 weeks, to be honest with you. It was countless meetings, quite a lot of meetings, very hard grilling. I didn't think I was going to get in, to be honest with you, because I got grilled pretty hard, in all the different meetings. But something I noticed after when I met all the other guys in the batch, about 30 or 40% of us had all sort of done VR as a service. We were agencies or companies that were doing projects for clients in a B2B space, and I saw that there was quite a similarity. Even other people in the groups, they all had been in the industry for a number of years in all different kinds of forms. So what I had noticed is that everybody had experience. It wasn't just like, oh, we like VR, let's go do stuff. No, everybody had experience. Everybody knew the challenges. Everyone saw the problems. Everyone had heard from the customers, had seen what their inherent challenges were. They were solving some of their own challenges that they had seen every day in their businesses. And I saw that was one common thread that made me reassured that I was surrounded by like-minded individuals. Is that we all knew the pain of doing B2B work or trying to do B2C work. We all were very, very, very familiar with the technology, the landscape, and what was good and what was bad. And I think that's what was really reassuring when I met everybody a few days afterwards, is that I felt like I was in a group of people who were just like me, who knew exactly the same pains and the problems that I had, and were solving their own challenges, but really deeply understood the industry and what the challenges in the industry were. So that was massive for me, because it was so hard for me to find more like-minded individuals that were very passionate about trying to solve these big problems in VR. And then one day I walked into a room in Spain and there was like 20 people that all were exactly like me in that way.
Well, thank you, Steve. So I'm gonna move to Julia if you are with us. No.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
it just keeps
good.
kicking me out because what are the odds that when you need your internet, it doesn't work? It's always the same.
Exactly.
As long as you guys can hear me.
No, we can hear you well. We can see you, but it works for now. So.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us? Say yes. No.
Okay. No, I just, again, Marcin and Steve touched upon so many things that I could say. So I just want to add that I think everyone who enters a selection process for an accelerator program is nervous that they're not going to get in. But this is exactly the kind of nerves that you need in order to perform a little bit better, hopefully, when trying to get into it. Like, you need a little bit of a carrot to actually chase after something. And it was a really good experience for us because, again, we needed to get the team on the table and just really polish what we wanted to share with Startup WiseGuys for them, to select upon. So that was a really good exercise in team building for us.
and do you have any advice for a startup, for founders who are planning to apply?
I can't hear anything. So if you ask me a question, maybe you can put it in the chat.
I thought there is a little bit of delay. So I'm gonna pass the question then to Maria and Andrey. I'm gonna write you in the chat.
Is the question how to get through the process? or should I tell you how we select?
No, not in detail, but any piece of advice you have for newcomers.
Be realistic. Be honest about the places where you still need to grow and challenge yourself, because no matter how good you are at performing, we will see those things. Be aware that we have different types of experts looking at you, whether in the written form or having interviews with you, and trust the process. Even if you don't get to the batch in the end of the day, you can still get so much value from the selection process. You can still get so much advice and just generally guidance, but don't forget to ask for it, because you know, if you seem to be closed for the feedback, then probably you will not get the most out of this experience. We're looking at founders. We're looking at you as a team, because in early stage, sometimes I vote for the teams and I know that they will pivot 100 more times, but I don't care, because I think those are the people that can pull this off and that can make things happen. So be sure to go more into the human side of things and show us why you can do stuff in this world.
Thank you, Maria. We got Julia back. Otherwise, I'm gonna move back to Marcin for the last question. I would like to understand, where are you today and what are your plans after the program?
Well, before you move there, I would love to add something.
Absolutely.
If you don't mind. Yeah. So basically, yeah, just to complement Maria's answer regarding like the value of the application process itself. Yeah, it's very well structured on our side, I would say. And everybody who applies, well, most of the people get at least to the product day where they get challenged on the to the product demo, so where they get challenged on the ability actually to communicate what a product is and like why do you do that in a very short time. Then the application itself provides you with the set of questions that any investor would ask you, like any of them. And it's a good practice where people are actually engaged in order to understand what on earth are you doing actually. And we also have people in the process who have no clue about XR. Like they really look into that from the business standpoint. But then on the other side, we have people like Maria, myself, Richard Ward, who are very deeply involved in the conversation and very passionate about each of you, everyone who applies, regardless whether you get into the program or not, because like it's a very highly selective process. We have like probably like more than 10 or even 15 candidates for each place in the batch. But my personal purpose in doing that is to deliver value to every applicant and feel like how we can complement, provide you advice very sincerely about what you do and provide you with the feedback, like because this is what you're getting out of this. And with that, I encourage you to apply as early as possible, because a lot of people like, oh, well, we can do that like on the last day. Or, yeah, you will. But then you wouldn't be able to get this value out of the process, because process will be shortened really. And yeah, so if you apply now, it would be really easy for us to pay enough attention to learn about your product, to do all the tech checks, because sometimes like your tech looks like shit, like really you cannot explain what you, but then like our tech expert looks at the backend and like, wow, this is gold, like really this is gold. They guys have all technical knowledge, everything that needs to be in the place, and they just cannot communicate. And this is exactly what we can fix. Like we cannot fix probably your technical challenges, but the way you talk about the product, the way you look at the customer, the way you look at the market, we can actually contribute a lot of value in that regard. So with that in mind, I would love to like to hear if like, what was your next question? Sorry, Giovanni.
No, my next question was about where they are today and what are their plans after the program. But thank you, Andrew. That's a very important point, that the selection process is a feedback loop where the founders, can improve constantly, and also for us to better get to know them and for them to vet us and understand who we are. Very valuable piece of
information. Yeah, and this is a feedback loop from the people who have seen a lot in terms of early stage startups and in terms of XR startups specifically. This is quite unique because most of the time, like 70% or even 90% of the time when you present to the people outside of the industry, you spend time just to explain what XR is. While here, we already know that. We want to learn like what is exactly the angle. And some people think like if we put like big numbers and explain to the people who don't know XR, we will get investment. Well, most likely not, or we will get toxic money. Well, I don't want to dive into that direction, but like make an effort, apply early. You will still have a time to work on the feedback that we will provide, and basically I improve the application by the end of the process. You still have like almost 2 months or 1.5.
Okay. Thank you, Andrey. So let's wrap up with the last question, and I would love to know where you are today and what are you planning afterwards.
Sure, absolutely. So let me answer in the actual form this time. Yeah. So as I mentioned, like during the program, it was like a September when we released the application. So it was like a very good timing also for us in terms of the program to get the product to the market. And right now we are super busy working with the first clients, and we see a lot of excitement like on the market right now about the way like we work with the projects. So for us, like the main focus because of the entire program and the refinement of the strategy, because that's the most important thing that happened during the program, the refinement of the strategy, how to go to the market and properly like find the market fit. So right now we are strongly focused on the business side. So the product, we believe it's there. We are still like heavily investing in R&D, of course, because we don't want like we want to have a proper IP in the company. That was also part of the discussion during the program. But right now the main course is the business side. And right now, as I mentioned, like we're working with the first clients, delivering them and integrating a lot of content right now with the platform. And of course, like because that's one of the things, but we definitely want to grow much, much faster. So we're also kicking off the founding round very soon. Actually, I'm starting in December, just flying to Miami at the beginning of the month, where it's a very big Immerse Global Summit event. That is one of the biggest XR events actually in the calendar. So yeah, I'm going up there and we're kicking off the founding round because we believe there is like a huge opportunity right now in that space. And we see a lot of challenges. That's something that we've very clearly seen during the program. There's so many challenges, especially on the existing project sides like gaming, studios apps, immersive apps, where they cannot produce the content properly and they cannot produce it fast enough. That is like properly aligned with the social media, for example, that we can clearly solve that problem. So we definitely need to kick off the growth right now with the company. And do a lot of like business activities. So yeah, right now the business plus the funding round at the end of the year.
Okay, thank you, Martin. Good luck with the next steps and enjoy.
Thank you.
So let's move to Julia, if you are with us. We're still struggling. Seems like a yes. So I'm gonna jump to Steve. Meanwhile, Julia, if you can hear me. Okay. Yeah, I can see you as well.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I can keep it short and sweet so as to reduce the time lag. In terms of a visionary statement, I want to say we want to be the company that provides neurological insights for everyone from anywhere next year. This is going to be your big roadmap for mid-2023 in terms of real talk. We just launched our first digital biomarker in the beta version. We will launch the full version in 2023 around, I want to say, March. If I said it now out loud, then we have to deliver. So Maria and Andrey, please, no, you don't have to, obviously, I'm just joking, but please kill me if you don't. No, we just want to keep building our R&D pipeline, and we're excited to see where it takes us. We're building a lot of exciting partnerships at the moment, research cooperations, and actual real-time clients, which is really exciting. We're going through the art days next week, and I already know, Andrey, that I will see you there. So I hope to see some more of you guys also there, where you can hear me pitch on stage about where we're headed. A little bit of enticement, you know, I need to keep it interesting.
Well, thank you, Julia. The in-person events are always valuable, so enjoy that. And last, Steve.
So where we are right now is that we're developing our strategic partnerships with some partners that are helping us develop content. We're starting to kind of drive up our sales quite a lot, and we're looking to start sending out our first batch of headsets in a solution here in Europe in the middle of Q1 next year, so in about 2 months. So we're in the hard yards right now doing the sales and the grinding and trying to get more customers on board and more partners on board. And really pushing hard to be able to launch and deliver out in Q1 next year. That's pretty much what we're aiming for.
Oh, thank you so much. So, but we got to the end of this session. Thank you for bearing with us, and I hope you got a little bit of better understanding of why these founders partnered with Startup WiseGuys. How was the experience for them, and also a little bit more about the selection process. Maybe any final words from you, Andrey, to wrap this up?
Well, my final word would be like handover from Maria to Giovanni. Like I would rather ask Maria to say some words to you and actually ask you a question. I would rather ask Maria.
Give me the blessing.
Yeah, I would. The blessing comes afterwards. But now I think Maria, it's your turn to ask a question to Giovanni.
My turn to ask Giovanni. Giovanni, are you ready to have fun? Because I can assure you, you will have a lot of fun with these vertical.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's it. Have fun.
I will. And I think this is the most important thing, right? So if you do something without the fun, it becomes obsolete, and I think life is too short for that. So thank you, everyone. Whoever is listening and is a founder, get in touch, apply. The program is starting in February. Applications are open today. If you think this is something for you, let's get in touch. We would love to get to know you more and explain to you in depth about Startup WiseGuys. So thank you again, and I wish you a good night to everyone. Or good morning, wherever you are.
VR is one of the places where we can speak Italian, like the proper Italian, not just Italian, but
Italian with hands.
Yeah, Italian with hands.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have mixed roots, so that's why you don't see me using properly the hands how they're supposed to be used.
It's all right.
But
yeah, it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. And back to Timo.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. It was a very, very interesting and excellent presentations all around, I think, and the panel discussion obviously is always a good thing to have. So thank you everybody for joining, and I think it was one of the better ones of our overnights, and maybe we'll have, if anyone wants to still watch the watch the spatial news. So let's see if that works now. So I'll just push it now to roll in, and we'll finish with that. So I will be sharing the tab now and hoping that will then work out as planned. But yeah, I definitely think it was super interesting and good presentations all around. But Joe, do you have any words? So I will just push the
I can save them for after the spatial news and then the announcements and wrap up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll just put this then right on. So let's roll the tape, and if now the sound should be okay, I hope. Hello everyone, and welcome to Spatial News. Once again, we are part of AWE Nite Northern XR. This time, the AWE Nite is not about the specific country, but actually we are having special guest from startup WiseGuys this time. So welcome on my behalf as well from the Spatial News. Or if you are watching the recording, do remember to go to awe.live and see the recording of the entire AWE Nite, if that's possible for you. All right, let's go to the actual news part of this newscast. So first, recently we heard news that Facebook, or now known as Meta, is laying off a lot of employees, 11,000 of them. And at the same time, Apple is actually hiring people, not to the metaverse though. They are hiring people for the 3D mixed reality world. So on that note, I have created a poll, what to call the future of digital computing, or how do we actually perceive the digital content in the future rather than the 2D screens. What is the name when you are consuming the digital content in the new way? Is it the metaverse, or is it 3D mixed reality world, or something else? And here are the results of the poll that I did in Instagram, not Instagram, but LinkedIn and Twitter. And as you can see, a lot of votes came in. So, well, maybe next time you guys will be more active in the voting part. All right. A lot of news lately when we have been recording this has been coming for new headsets. Everybody's releasing the new versions like Pico 4, Pico 4 for business. Then we have the PlayStation VR2 coming in February 2023 at the price of $550. So that's interesting to see how that will take off actually. Is there enough content, and how about the competition with that? So let's see how that takes off or doesn't. Interesting to see. Then one interesting headset news is the Niantic's partnership with Qualcomm and their take on the new idea with the Snapdragon chipset. To this chipset, here's a visualization of that, and there's actually regarding that there's quite nice video or a commercial trailer, what you want to call it, is that it looks very nice, but they have been known to create quite nice trailers in the past when there was Pokemon 2 and everybody was like, okay, this is the metaverse, but it was just playing Pokemon Go. It wasn't really maybe that, but let's see if this new version of their digital content consumption in the gameverse might be better. So to find that out, we actually sent one of our Kalles, the Swedish one, to see Palle, to see how it actually looks. So Palle, please take it away and let's see how it looks from your point of view.
Hey son, här är Palle. I am here in virtual reality where there's a new
It is me, Kalle here. He, virtual, me real. Virtual, go away. I take over, yes. I review. I very good reviewer. Yes, yes. It is reviewed now. The Niantic, yes. See, video going. It is actual gameplay. Actual. Which way? This way. Yes. This way. Yes. Actual gameplay. Interesting. Yes. It is nice. But is it only video? Or is it virtual? I mean, yes. Okay. Looks nice. Like a game. Also, navigation. Yes. Here, navigate. Navigate important. Done many times. I give this a review of 8 out of 10. It is my review. If it works, it is 9 If it doesn't, it is 6. Thank you. It is Kalle. I am Kalle. Bye.
Okay, well, thank you, Kalle, for that. I didn't ask you to rate the experience. So, and I didn't ask you to do the entire piece. Actually, I was thinking that maybe you could take a break this time, but okay. Well, on another note, there's an interesting new experience where customers can experience augmented reality while on a horse track. So virtual horse track experience that has been done by Immersal. So we sent our Mexican-looking Kalle to see about that, but I hope he has managed to do his piece. So Kalle, please take it away. And look at this. Now we jump into the world of oh my God. Yeah, you can read.
It is me, Kalle here. Hello, hello. Yes, yes. Please go awake again. He virtual me real. By now, there can be only one Kalle, and I am the Kalle. Yes. I review this. Yes. This very interesting. Play now. Yes. It is a augmented reality experience in the horse races. Yes, horses are here. Yes, yes, they are interesting. The horses. Yes, here, navigate. Yes, like previous, navigate. No glasses. That before. Yes, navigate. Then real-time data while you watch race. Yes, you watch a race. Real-time data. Nice. Very virtual. Yes, it is virtual. Yes, I like it. You see, horses with data. Yes, that's interesting. I give this 9 out of 10 by Kalle's review. Very nice, very virtual. Thank you. I am Kalle. Bye.
For real, Kalle. Come on, you cannot take over the entire, but you really can't. But so maybe we'll cut these short then, the Kalles. Normally we have 3, but now I don't dare to take another one. So let's go to the kind of short topics that we always end the news with. So Synergy XR, which is has the mission of XR to the people. They have a no-code enterprise XR platform that they have released their latest version 2.2 there. So please check that out. They have also a 30-day free tryout of that if you are interested. We will post the links in our video as well. Then one of the companies here in Finland, Augmenta, is now 10 years old. So congratulations to them. On the background, there's their smart panel video going through where you can actually implement an industrial solution where you have a panel attached to a device and you control it through the augmented reality glasses or virtually, so to say. So it's not direct, there's no physical controls, but only a virtual one. So that's an interesting product of theirs. Then we'll end up with an important thing, the AWE Augmented World Expo's XR prize this year. So you have still up until December to submit to it. They are giving out a $100,000 cash prize for fight climate change idea, where you have 4 categories that you can enter into the competition. One is replace, so replacing wasteful materials and practices using XR. The other is visualize, visualizing the cause and impact of climate change using XR. Then there's educate, which is educating about solutions about climate change using XR. And then the 4th category of competition is optimize, optimizing design and execution of climate solutions in XR. So that's an interesting thing. There's a link to it. You can find it from the AWExr.com. Also information regarding the XR prize. So here are the news. This time only, it seems, me and Kalle. So I don't know what's going to happen next time, but thank you all for listening. This was the special news. Toodaloo.
seems like Gale has let a bit of fame get to his head. It's pretty megalomaniacal now. He's everywhere.
Yeah, that was a bit scary, but well, what can you do? It's how it is.
So
I totally forgot, guys, to say thank you for having us today. Concluding our session, so I want to really appreciate inviting
it was
us
our
and
pleasure.
organizing. Yeah, it was,
absolutely. Yeah, I was just about to thank you as well. I thank you, all the participants, from the start of WiseGuys team, especially Andrey, who helped me put this together in 2 weeks. So it was like record time. Also, all the alumni that were present and the ones that weren't able to be present, keep being extraordinary. You're doing great work. All the all staff that helped in the background and also here that you can't really see them, but they're helping. And of course, Teemu, my right hand man and the co-organizer of All Nite Northern XR, and of course all of you who joined and have been joining us over this past year and past 2 years that we've been doing this. Our next All Nite Northern XR will be on January 19th, 2023. It'll be live and on site, also a hybrid event from Jyväskylä, which is Middle Finland, and that's gonna be really cool. So please join us live for that, or in video or live stream, however you're gonna join us, and that's gonna be very cool. So thank you for everybody for joining, for watching at home in the recording, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.